Hello, thanks so much for tuning in. It's Deb with Bloomfield Stampin', and I have a special treat for you today. We are going to look at the colors of fall. So stay tuned. Fall brings out all kinds of different colors. On my walk this morning, I found some different fall leaves. That one is specifically a nice red, yellow and green. Definitely our poplar trees are starting to change color. And the lilacs are putting on kind of a neat display. So those are some colors in nature that I found. And of course, the beautiful fruit like the black plums and the ripe tomatoes. So we've got our greens, reds, yellows, browns, coral. And I even think that there is some blue in some of the colors that we see in the fall. Are you a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator by any chance? Because Stampin' Up! On the demonstrator website, under Business Resources, you can access some color combinations that Stampin' Up! Has put together. And so that's exactly what I did. It's called the Color Coach. So what I did was I made you guys some combinations that are available in the Color Coach or from your demonstrator or from myself. I found this one under Copper Clay, this beautiful color here. I used this middle combination, Copper Clay, Wild Wheat, and Lost Lagoon, to make just a stamped page, and I specifically cut it so that I could make cards with the stamped page. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the cards, and then you'll see what we're going to be doing here. So here is a card that I took a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and cut it on the angle. And so of course I got 2 pieces out of that. And there's one that's a portrait, the other that's landscape. And then on the other quadrant of that 8 1/2 by 11, I just cut 2 pieces so this was my stamped area, and so together that measures 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. So that would be the 5 1/2. So I got 2 cards out of that. And then in the bottom quadrant, see how this went together. There was 2 strips that were 4 1/4 cut in half by 5 1/2 long. And on the last right bottom, I made 3 by 2 1/8, 2 pieces there, and the 3 pieces that measures approximately 1 3/8 plus a 1 1/2. So that was a full page stamped. I would like to stamp that full page with you and show you how I do this pattern. And I hope that you will also give it a try. This is the only piece I had left over from that sheet of 8 1/2 by 11. So that was one color combination. I paired that with the basic beige, which is one of our neutral colors. The second color combination I tried was one of the color coaches that detailed pecan pie, and so it gave us 3 combinations, and I chose the middle one here. So pecan pie, lemon lime twist, and calypso coral. This gives you a start. So here is the 3 colors, pecan, calypso, and lemon lime, and I paired that with white. And here's the cards that I made with the same cutting pattern. So those 2 diagonals, they came from a 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece, and I put both on that card. The 2 half strips I used in this card with that color combination, and this card. So these two together were 4.25 by 5.5. These two were the long strips in the bottom. So this measures 5.5 by 2 1/8. And the last are those pieces here and here that came off the bottom right-hand side that would measure 3 by 2 1/8. And then this would be the rest of it at the bottom. So 2.5 by 1 3/8, 1 3/8, and 1.5. So that's how that went. Now if you're wondering where I'm getting all these measurements and exactly what I'm talking about, I'll show you. So I'll move this to the side for a minute. So if you take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and just mark it in half both ways. And I've already done that on this Very Vanilla because we're going to work on this one together. So I've just measured half of the 11 inches and half of the 8.5 and just made a faint pencil line. And then with this, I did the diagonals, and then this, cut that in half, landscape, portrait, and we're left with those smaller pieces on the end. Well, when I put the overlay on, then hopefully you can see it a little better. So this is a piece of acetate, and I've just used a black Sharpie and made those lines that I've been talking about. So now I'll show you the third combination that I did. I find the purples, the greens, and of course pumpkin pie are favorite fall colors. This one reminds me of Halloween. So there it is at the bottom, the suggestion from Stampin' Up with Gorgeous Grape, Pumpkin Pie, and Granny Apple Green. And so there they are. And I paired that with the Very Vanilla because it kind of brightens everything up, doesn't it? So I'm just going to leave that there while I show you the cards. So this is the card using the diagonals. So that's right here, the top. And I just used one diagonal, and I spruced up the other side with one of the stamp sets. And then going the other way. And of course, this could also go this way. And then next, I used both of these two pieces on one card, making a Z fold. And the other, sticking with those 3 colors and a neutral. And then the last pair are these ones that come from this area of the paper. And so this is a portrait going this way and a landscape going this way. So I've showed you 3 color combinations using different Stampin' Up colors. I'm just going to quickly show you the from our Stampin' Up catalog. In Stampin' Up, we have color families. And so this would be the subtle color family, and the one color I showed you already was Calypso Coral. That would be in this color family, and also Lost Lagoon. And then over the page, if you don't have a catalog, just message me, I'll send you one. There's actually 2 catalogs available right now. So this is the Brights, and that's where you'll find pumpkin pie and the granny apple green that I used in my color combinations. These are the Regals, and this is what we're going to be using together. So there's our cherry cobbler, pretty peacock. And you can see you can order these colors. You can order the cardstock, the Stampin' Pad, the Stampin' Ink Refill, and the Stampin' Combo Blends. So the alcohol markers are all listed here, the order numbers. Or you could go down here by family and order an assortment. So you can have an assortment of 20 sheets. So that'd be 2 sheets each of the 10 colors. You can do 8.5 by 11 or the 12 by 12, the whole family. 6 by 6 designer series paper in these colors. Markers, that would be the Stampin' Right markers, the water-based markers. You can have the whole bundle of ink pads if you're just starting out and you just love that color family. It saves you a little bit of money to order the bundle. And the ink refills. Now you might think, why would I need ink refills? Well, I use them all the time. Some of my colors come in these ink spots because that's what you get in the kits, or you can also order these ink spots. So my cherry cobbler, I'm using an ink spot, and indeed I have the cherry cobbler ink refill because these ink spots are a cloth mesh stamp pad, and the larger ink pads, like the regular size Stampin'Up ink pads, are a foam. So these cloth ones, I find I have to ink them up more regularly, and because they're small, so that's what I do. The last color family is one of my favorites. It's the neutrals. So that's where you'll find Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, Blackberry Bliss, Early Espresso, Pecan Pie, we use that one. Crumb Cake, we're using that one in our demonstration today. Gray Granite, Smoky Slate, and Basic Gray. So that is the color families, and then we have 10 of the in colors. And so in colors will last beyond the market for 2 years. And so our new in colors are here. There's 5 of them. Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, and Petunia Pop. That's our new in colors. And our 2023-2025 in colors, Copper Clay, which I used in my first set of cards with Wild Wheat. And then the other 3 are Boho Blue, Moody Mauve, and Pebbled Path. And once again, you can buy individually any of the items or by color family. And here's the basics. Basic Beige, Very Vanilla, Basic White, and Basic Black. And I would say I use all those colors quite frequently. I paired Basic Beige with my first color combination. This one, that's the Basic Beige. I paired white, Basic White, with the second combination. And I paired Very Vanilla with the other 2 combinations. I'm using 2 stamp sets today and a punch, so there's no need for your die cutting machine. This stamp set is called Autumn Leaves, and it has such beautiful leaves, the veining that you can stamp, and some beautiful sentiments. And I paired that with Layering Leaves, which has a punch. And so it's nice to have that punch. It's called the Bough punch for creating some nice little accents to your cards. Now before we get started, I just want to show you, it's really good to learn the orientation of your punch, an imprint of what this punch and how this punch goes, so that I know when I'm stamping these items, I keep them in the right orientation for punching. Okay, we'll see that in a few minutes. Okay, here's my very vanilla piece of cardstock. So we're going to use the Cherry Cobbler color combination that has the top one. I would start with the biggest leaf first. I saw it done and I just love it. It's a great way to use your stamps, and it turns out really beautiful. So all you really need is stamps, ink, and paper. So there, I've mounted my largest leaf on the biggest block from Autumn Leaves. Now I'm going to take the other two and put them on the right size block. And we're going to get started here. So I'm going to use the 3 colors for the 3 leaves. Start with my biggest leaf. So with these Stampin' Spots, that faint pencil line that I drew in, I don't think we're going to have to see it, and I don't think we'll have to erase it. So we'll just continue on with our leaves. Maybe I'll do a second generation. There. And there. Over here. And here. And maybe some aspen leaves down here. And in this corner. Okay. I'm going to bring in the other stamp set now and just let that dry for a bit before I add the veins. So I'll give that a white. And over to Autumn Leaves. And let's bring the layering leaves out and see what we can do here. It's nice to use more than one stamp set. You can see I keep just everything in the case. I'm going to take this off, put it right there, and see if I can fit this guy. I call this guy my coffee bean one. So now we'll start again with all the different colors. This stamp set has a really good blotch stamp. So this stamp set's also completely different than the other one. It's more of a defined line, and I think it goes really well. Ooh, you're getting close. I went right over top of that other leaf. Look at that. These do I need? Maybe something in here and on the end. In this set, there's 3 different kinds of these branches. And the other 2 stamps that look like this, you can fill the leaves in with a second stamp. And one more. Is everybody liking this so far? What do you think of this color combination? Okay, I'll leave that. Give my chamois good. I'm going to stamp a good rub with the chamois. And stick that there. And there's 2 that look almost like little clusters of roses. So I'm going to do that one in Pretty Peacock. with the photopolymer stamps, you can actually see them pick up the ink. I love that. It's nice to do the full strength right beside these ones that I did the second generation stamping on, just for the contrast. Isn't this fun? Ooh, a little bit there. There. Okay, I'll leave that at that, and we'll go back in with the crumb cake now. And for the crumb cake, I think I'll do this one. It's kind of an open leaf with some veins. Okay, I think I got all the way around. That's good. Now that particular stamp has a fill-in. So now I'm going to fill in with the second generation. So there's the leaf fill-in stamp. So I'll need my little piece of paper here. And so I just stamped off on my paper. There, just stamp the lightest of the color. Stamp off. This stamp is particularly easy to line up. Keep going around. And if you get over the lines, it just looks like watercolor. So that's okay too. Stamp off. Oops, the other one. Okay, how's it looking so far? I think it needs a little something something. And that something something is this fabulous little stamp right here. The dottage, as Ruth Trice from Artful Stamping would say. She is wonderful, and she does these kind of collages all the time. So if you wanted to see more of this and see her artistry at work, go to Artful Stamping. And don't forget, we've got to put the veins in these leaves, and then I think we can call her done. We'll cut her up. And don't forget to go off the edge a little bit. There. Okay, we've got some veins to put in on our leaves. So we're kind of done with that stamp set for now, the layering leaves. The layering leaves has got a ton of really good sentiments. I use all 6 of those, 7 sentiments on my cards. Okay, back to the leaf veins. Okay, we'll start with the maple leaf veins. Now the only trick to this is just to make sure I don't get too much ink on the stem, because it's going to interfere with the other patterns. So I'm going to be wiping the ink off the stem. Okay. And we're going tone on tone, so cherry cobbler on cherry cobbler. And you can hear me pounding away out the ink spot. Tap, tap, tap. Then I'm going to take my tissue and just remove the ink from that stem and start lining up the veins. The ink spot's actually really good because I can try and avoid stamping on that stem. There it is. So remember, I've got to do this about 11 times. I'll speed up the video. Just adds so much to do all this detail. Really it does. Especially when we're doing a project like this. So we've done two-step stamping on the layering leaves, filling in these leaf designs. And now we're doing two-step stamping, adding the veins into our maple leaves. Now we'll do the next, the oak leaf. It's this one here. And I think I'll use this block here. Oh, it's a pretty peacock. See where that stem kind of interfered with that other image? I can try and just tap it so I don't get the stem in there. Re-ink. There, I think that did it. Now the last but not least, the aspen leaf. Now, we filled in most of our space. We're ready to cut. And you'll be glad to hear I've got the card bases and everything ready to go. And I think this is the last one. Yep. Okay, we did it. Now we'll try our overlay. See what looks the best. Purchases, you will get this overlay with a color combination of 3 colors and a neutral. So 4 pieces of cardstock. So order in my online store, bloomfield.stampinup.net, or give me a shout and I can order for you. So there's one way to put that on. Or we can just take a look at the opposite way. And I think the way we stamped, we pretty much got everything covered. I kind of like this way. I can see that we've got kind of all the leaves there. So let's get out our Stampin' Trimmer and get our cards made. Some embellishments and a sentiment. And that card is ready to go. Next is, I started working on this one, and I got the triangle put on and some ribbon, finished the inside, and then for my sentiment, I did something a little different. It's a triangle, layered, and I'm going to put some of these sprigs on there now. But I'll show you how to use that punch. So as we discovered, the orientation of that punch is to the right for the large leaves and to the left for the small leaves. And I can see that I can just slide this in right about here and line it up. So I just got to turn it from side to side until I can see that the stem is in the picture and the leaves are completely covered. Oh, that turned out not too bad. So we can do the next one. If you run out of places to hold, you can always attach a sticky note to whatever you're punching. So lining this one up. Just takes a minute to look at the stem, the leaves, and as you tighten it, it actually holds until you squeeze it. So there, we've got that punched out. I just use a piece of Scotch tape, and so on the back of the triangle, kind of figure out which way we want our embellishments. So a leaf sprig here, and then maybe that one's just punched without being stamped. So maybe I'll use a cherry cobbler. Put that in here, making sure that I'm not going off the edge of the card. And then a small one. This one. Very nice. Kind of brightens it up. So then I'll just grab that, flip it over, and use a good old piece of Scotch tape. And we can decide if we want anything on the bottom. Maybe. Maybe, since we've got the cherry cobbler and the pretty peacock, we can maybe use one of these for the bottom. Don't have much room there, but looks like we can do that. Okay, hold on to everything. Slide it off my glass mat, and this is where you could use 3 or 4 more hands. There. Now on the back of this, I'm going to put dimensionals. Now I don't want the dimensionals on this top flap of the card. So I can see I can only put them on this bottom part. So let's do that. There, there, and maybe one more. There. Let's see if that works. Flip that over. Oh, that one's sticking out a bit. Make sure to tuck that down a bit. Okay, I think we're good. I always use my take your pick tool. Take the dimensional backings off. And I remember we had to slide it down a bit. And so the worst thing you can do is stomp that down until you know it's good. There we go. And we'll put a few of these embellishments on. 3 to be exact. And they are adhesive backed, so it's already done for us. Good. Here, and then this big guy out in the wilderness there. Okay, so our second triangle card is done. We've done this top quadrant with the triangles. How about we do these ones that just get cut in half? So that measurement's 5.5 by 4 1/4. I'm going to cut this 5.5 in half at 2 3/4. So I'm going to now the card bases I prepared for this actually involve a mini card. I'm just going to tack that down with the glue dot and glue that on. I love these little mini cards, they're so cute. And a person could, stamp around your card base. And this is just going to say, I'm thankful, and I'll put it up on dimensionals. I could layer it. I think I'll just do this. And I'm going to have an inside to my mini card. I think I'll use one of these strips that I cut off the triangles. We'll line this up and send. Well, we got the cards finished. So using the color combination of Cherry Cobbler, Pretty Peacock, and Crumb Cake, let me know what you think. Now, we stamped that page. We used an acetate to help with the cutting, and we created 8 cards. So there's the triangles. Here's the strips. Here's that 5.5 by 4 1/4 cut in half. Made some little mini cards with that. And I'm thankful to have you as a friend. Do you want to see the other color combos? It's amazing what you can do with stamps, ink, and paper. Enjoy. Talk to you soon.